The 787th edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up at Underdog Fantasy using promo code MMA SGPN to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits. And we're also brought to you by Edge Boost. Get up to $750 in cash back rewards each month when you sign up at edgeboost.bet and you use promo code SGPN.
Howdy ho, Degenerinos. Welcome to episode 787 of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, dedicated to our doggy, Indy, aka Indy Jones, aka Indy the Autism Service Dog, aka Baby Horse, who's 10 years old today. And he's the youngest one in the house, too. So this goes out to Indy Jones. Hello, everyone else. Thank you for coming to the show. As you can see, we're covering LFA today. I am the host, Jeff Pussy Fox, one of the hosts, not the host. The pussy half.
Hasn't gone anywhere.
Nope. I'm the other half of it. The gentleman that laughing, that would be Daniel Gumby Reland. All is well in the world again. I beat Gumby again last night at the UFC.
Barely though, right?
Barely. I went 8-5. I was up $28. He went 7-6 down $80. I hit an extra dog. That was the thing. That a lot of
we had the same amount of underdogs. We had the same amount of underdogs.
I hit Lauren.
Yeah, but I hit Wood.
Oh, right. Wood. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. The only difference on the end of the day was I took a stab on Jan Blachowicz. Mm-hmm. And by the way,
he won.
At plus 235. You could argue that he won. You could argue he didn't win. I personally would have scored the fight for Alberg. I'm fine with the decision going the way it did. But that being said, it was close enough that taking a swing at damn near 250 definitely felt like it was worth it on Jan Blachowicz.
Questionable judges' decisions that went our way for a change.
Well, Lauren didn't go my way, and he definitely didn't win that fight. No. That's the worst one.
Tybura probably didn't win that fight.
I thought he won.
Okay, good.
Parkin didn't do anything. Like Parkin, granted, Tybura didn't do much, but he did more than Parkin did. So, and Parkin's not even bitching about the decision either.
Well,
so, he posted something about not being the better man that day or something like that. So, I kind of agree. Right. I think I wish Tybura shot 30 more takedowns than he did, but the one he did looked easy, and he held the position, and then he was like, well, I don't need to do that again.
Yeah, but not totally Barry Gumby. I whiffed on all of my extra fancy plays. Gumby hit his lock and his dog, so there you go.
How good did Steinara look, by the way?
Yeah, that's how bad did Molly McCann look? Like, you don't have to retire; just learn how to wrestle a bit, and then you can.
It's a chicken or the egg situation for me, though. In this one, did Molly McCann look that bad, or is Steinara like a prospect we need to watch?
It could be both. She put herself into multiple submissions, though.
Contender series,
McCann did.
Yeah.
Sorry, got choppy there, but go ahead. What were you saying about Steinara?
Yeah, and not any of. Not any of those submissions that you put yourself in, take yourself out of, and put yourself back in. That was reserved exclusively for Puja Tomar.
No. Oh God. Don't even talk about her. There was a lot of bad IQ last night in the at the UFC. So, all right. Before actually we dive into LFA, tell us about LFA 204, Gumby. You were in attendance. How was the event? How were your picks?
So a really fun fight card to be in attendance, especially just because of the cornermen. I didn't realize how many fun cornermen would be there. So I saw Aljamain Sterling, whose brother was on the prelims. Didn't know. His brother
I had a brother.
I think older brother, and now 0-2 is a pro in MMA, which is, I think they said he was 35, so he's got to be older than Aljo, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so he's 35 and he's now 0-2. So Aljo was in his corner. A little bit later on with Dylan Mantello, we saw Ray Sefo and Ally Akinta in their corners.
How much yelling was going on there?
It wasn't, well, especially in the first round, because I don't know if you saw the fight. Mantello took about 800 1-2 combos to the chin in round one, and then came back and won. And granted, I picked against them, but it still felt kind of good to see a dude take a beating like that and come back. And not only knock the dude out, but put him out on a stretcher, which was insane. And then, sadly, we had to wait for the ambulance to come back before they would start the main event.
Did you start booing? Come on!
I didn't. It was a pretty tame crowd. And then Glover Teixeira cornered like
Oh,
7
really?
different people
Oh,
along
that's his
with,
area, right? He's
yeah.
Connecticut. Yeah.
So he had a whole bunch of guys on the card. As a matter of fact, Luis Henrique Barbosa, who fought on the card, who hit for us as an underdog. He's apparently now moved to working with Glover Teixeira because he had Glover Teixeira and Yusef Belagori, who was on Contender Series a couple of times. They were in his corner. I saw Nick Newell, the one-arm fighter who fought Jeff Gaethje. Yeah, back at World Series of Fighting. He cornered a couple of guys. Yeah, so those were all fun. And then, obviously we saw 5 finishes on the main card. Never hate that. Went 3-2. If you put $100 on every single one of those bets, you came out up $4.22.
Oh, okay. But you had a fun time, so that's the key, and you didn't lose money. So time. Yeah, that's not too shabby at all. So very good, very good. All right, we probably should get down to it. I'll talk about some comments we had in YouTube, maybe on a future episode. I'll dedicate some episodes to people. All right, before we dive into it, though, Jeff is unprepared as per usual because Jeff was fiddling around with his plugs that weren't working. All right, Jeff's going to tell you about what are we doing right now. Looking for all our picks and podcasts in one place. Download our app, the SGPN app, wherever you get your apps. It's a very good app. You can get all our articles as well. W and I are pumping out articles constantly, as are everyone else. So check it out. My NBA picks are still on fire. I'm still like return on investment like 10% on the season, which is pretty wild if you ask me. So anyhow, check out all our stuff. SGPN is the place to go, is the app to look for in the App Store. Yeah, maybe I do talk too much. Maybe those people are right. Anyhow, LFA 205. You're not going to this one, are you, Gumby? You're not going to Brasilia?
This one's in Brasilia. I'm not going to be there.
The capital of Brazil, Brasilia. That's this coming Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern start time. LFA 205. Pires versus Abojer.
Abojer.
Okay, there you go. 14 fights in a cage. We are breaking down the top 5 on the card, and then, as per usual, Gumby will give you the lightning round. I will set him up. He will give you the actual picks. It's a team effort here. All right, we will start off with a fight on the main card. Big boys, heavyweights. Guillermo Pat versus Lucas Camacho. There's no way his last name's Pat, right? Guillermo Pat.
I don't actually know the answer to that.
Let me see if Tabology knows.
Guilherme Pat.
Oh, right. I'm sorry. It's not Guillermo. It's E at the end. Nope, I don't know. Guilherme Pat. Well, we'll assume his last name probably isn't Pat. It's probably that's probably a nickname. But anyhow, no odds yet because we are always ahead of the trend. LFA odds usually midweek. You should actually LFA is a little earlier, is it not? It's earlier than
just
the other ones.
Just a touch early. I would say. Yeah. Somebody asked me last week, or like, when are we going to see odds for this? And we're pretty excited about it. And I said, maybe you'll see them on Wednesday. And I think we got them Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. All right. Let's dive into the fight now. Shall we? Camacho, Lucao. So Big Luke, 6-1. 3 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been knocked out once. 2-0 on LFA. TKO lost in his last fight. That was on the Contender Series. Gumby. The question is, who did he lose to?
Mario Pinto.
There you go. It's easier with heavyweights, right? There's a smaller pool to choose from there. He's fed at 205 and 185. Pat, 5-0 with 4 knockouts, 1-0 in LFA. TKO win in his last fight, an inch height, an inch reach over Camacho. So small resume, I guess, for both guys. What you got for us?
Yeah, so I think Camacho is going to come in as a slight favorite, being that he's fresh off the Contender Series. He's got way longer of an LFA style record, but I don't know how high because Pat obviously being a younger, nice looking record in itself, even if it's a little bit unexperienced. I think we're going to see this in like the negative 145 range, get maybe plus 120, 125 on the return for Pat, and I'll take the underdog here. I'll take Guilherme Pat. And I'd take him up into being a favorite in the same realm of where I'm quoting Camacho to be here. And the main reason is just like both of these guys want to do the same thing. Both of these guys want to stand and trade. Both of them are a little bit too tall, a little bit too stiff in the way that they stand. Both of them a little bit upright. One of them, though, is like a chunky guy who, as you mentioned, Camacho came up from 205. He came up from 185. Right. Like his physique still looks like he should probably be able to just cut some of that out and be a 185er.
The reverse Jared Cannonier.
Yes. And Pat, meanwhile, is like, he's like a cut heavyweight. He's like 6, I think they said he's 6'5", just a big, tall dude. And again, that's probably why he fights too upright. But the bottom line is he's just like way more dynamic when it comes to striking. And Camacho is like super hittable. If you watch his fight, he fought Uriel. I'm trying to remember Uriel's first name, but he's like that stocky, chunky guy who comes in LFA heavyweight fights all the time. And like, I don't particularly think of him as like a sniper when it comes to striking. He's a guy who throws like big hooks and like overhand rights, like a Brazilian Roy Nelson. And like Camacho just got tagged by all that stuff early, was like a little bit wobbly, and his cardio kind of took over and beat the other guy. His cardio is going to be worse in this fight. So like if he gets tagged by the guy who hits harder, even if he's just trying to Homer Simpson the hell out of him, I don't think he'll have better cardio than Guilherme Pat. So I'll take Guilherme Pat here, hopefully as a small underdog.
Unfortunately, Tapology users are in with you. Maybe it's a good thing. 76%.
They like Pat?
76% for Pat, yeah.
Man, usually they like Contender Series guys. That's interesting because like in the books, definitely like Contender Series guys in the regional scene. So maybe they'll buck the trend here, or maybe it'll be one of those ones that post super high in one direction and will flip flop to the other. But I would have imagined based on the resume that Camacho would have the fans on his side. But hey, who knows?
Hey, who knows? Pat definitely will after this episode for sure. So if you like the odds when it opens, grab it because all the degens will steam it for sure. We're going way down now to women's strawweights. Xiomara Piriz from Ecuador, Gabriela Fujimoto. You can call her Gabby from Brazil. We have spoken of her before. One of the prospect in LFA. Let's tell you about Gabby Fujimoto first. She is 6-0, 2 knockouts, 1 submission. All those fights taking place in LFA. TKO win in her last fight. It probably was the fight we were speaking of. 7 years younger than Piriz, 3 inches taller. Piriz is La Pitbull. At least that's a little different, Gumby. Usually it's just Pitbull.
Slightly.
Yeah. She's the feminine version of the Pitbull. 13-4, 5 knockouts, 8 submissions. So she finished everyone. She's been knocked out once, submitted twice. That means she owes us rounds. This is her debut in LFA. Won 3 straight and 5 of 6. Multi-region championships on her.
Mantle.
Correct. Get the shirt. Get her merch at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Try the code MADNESS. It may still work. If it does, you get 20% off. Use fight at 125 and 135. 2014 Pro MMA debut.
Yeah, I think Fujimoto huge favorite here. Maybe -500. And I'd still throw in parlays even at that number if she's that high. Piriz, I had to go watch her because I hadn't heard of her. She's new to the organization. Kind of a green looking record. Man, is she bad on the feet? And it looks like she's beating up women they found walking their dog in the park or something like that. Like I don't know where they found most of her opponents, but it certainly wasn't in an MMA gym anywhere. And like, so she just throws like somebody who's never gotten boxing instruction on a heavy bag. So like it's not fundamental at all. And like, I've never really seen her try to grapple. Like all the footage I found on her was just like her wrecking people standing up who like look like they can't box. And Fujimoto, like, so look, she's a grappler. That's what she wants to do first and foremost. But I've seen her get into brawls before, and she keeps her punches tight. She returns her hands to her chin to make sure she doesn't get tagged. Like, she does all the right things, even when she's like getting sucked into a brawl. And then from the grappling standpoint, her jiu-jitsu is really nice. Like, I love her positional jiu-jitsu. I love how she attacks submissions. Her wrestling could use some growth. I think last time we broke her down, you asked me, like, is she a prospect for the UFC?
I was going to ask you that now.
Yeah. It gets a little bit predictable. Those are the questions you like. I think she is, but like, I think her wrestling needs to improve. Because like, she's so good at jiu-jitsu, but like, she needs more avenues to get it down. Cause right now it mostly feels like BJJ 101 takedowns, like, body lock inside trips that they, from a high lock position, or like she clearly has some sort of judo background that allows her to throw some hip tosses in there. So like she's got a little bit of something, but like a single or a double leg, just one of the two would like do her a world of good. But in the meantime, like I think even if she doesn't get a takedown here, I think she wrecks Piriz on the feet. I think she's so much better everywhere this goes. Give me Fujimoto, probably huge favorite.
Are we talking contender series for her this year, probably, or not?
She's getting close. There's a couple of ladies in LFA that I think might be a step above her. And they usually try to reach out to the women who have titles in LFA first and foremost. Mm-hmm. So like, a win here might possibly put her on a short list for a strawweight title shot. But like, I possibly needs one more win, possibly needs just like maybe a real superlative performance here would do it.
Well, Gumby predicts that she's going to have one, so we shall see. All right, let me tell you about DraftKings. When it comes to college basketball and March Mania, one thing is for sure, nothing's for sure. Upsets, buzzer beaters, Cinderella's advancing, top seeds going home early. It's all going to happen. Bet the unexpected, every upset, every day with DraftKings Sportsbook. With live betting, exclusive content, promos, and parlays, DraftKings is the ultimate college basketball destination for March. First time playing on DraftKings, here's something special just for you. New DraftKings customers, bet $5 to get $200 in instant bonus bets instantly. Instantly. Great job, Jeff. Obviously, you're going to want to use those on Al Horford and Kyle Filipkowski plays. You can bet some LFA there too if you choose. Bet the unexpected with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SGP. That's code SGP for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. All right, now a professional man will tell you more information.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPENY or text HOPENY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Thank you, professional ad reading man. Rhythm is your home for AI picks and props. Rhythm is already off to a great start, helping you dominate March Madness. Building your own custom model is easy and profitable. Plus, they got models for NBA, NBA, golf, and coming soon, MLB. Obviously, you're going to want to check out, they have Al Horford props. We have checked, they have them. So you're going to want to, I'm sure they have Kyle Filipkowski as well. So sign up today for a 7-day free trial at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. All right. Where are we moving now? Gumby, moving up. Yes, to bantamweights, right. Herbeth Sousa from Brazil. Michel Lima from Brazil as well. I North Americanized his name. 3 5-minute rounds, 135. Let's break it down. Panico is Lima. That means panic. 19-6. 7 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been submitted twice. 1-1 in LFA. Win-loss win over his last 3, 3-4 over his last 7. TKO win in his last fight. Regional champion. Used to fight at 145 and 155. 0-1 in cage boxing. 2 inches height, 3 inches reach over Sousa. Sousa is Indio, which translates to Indian. 18-2. 2 knockouts, 12 submissions. He's been knocked out once. So a couple of durable dudes here. Then it's a finish. 0-1 in LFA. He's won 3 straight and 8 of 9. He's not lost since June of 2022. He's got multiple regional championships on his
mantle.
Correct. Get a shirt, get a merch, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Try Madness. Checkout code. Used to fight at 145 and 125. 2012 pro MMA debut, 2 years younger than Lima.
So I think Herbeth Sousa is probably going to be a big favorite. My guess is like the 300 kind of range. And I'm going to pick him in this one. I had to go back and watch Lima because I couldn't necessarily remember what he looked like. And, you know, what stood out to me when you're watching him fight is he has got really fast hands. And he has got no idea how far away from you he is. It's like maybe a vision problem. I don't mean to make light of it, but like he is throwing like a real nice piston jab when he's 12 feet away from you, or like a hook when he's 6 inches away from you. And it's like it lands 3 inches behind your head. It just looks like he has the worst sense of range out of a lot of people I've seen. And like he has kind of questionable takedown defense as a result, right? Because he overcompensates sometimes, he's too far away other times. And look, Herbeth Sousa is a absolute beast when it comes to jiu-jitsu. He is so good on the ground. I mean, like he took down and took the back of Muin Gafurov in their fight. And like, you know, if you could take down Muin Gafurov, was it? Yeah, it was him that took down Muin Gafurov.
Yeah, it was him.
Took the back. Yeah, and like did it in no time at all. And like seemingly without much work. And if you think about like how good Gafurov has been in the UFC, like, you know how impressive that is. And Sousa is really, you know, in my mind, I think of him as a flyweight. Even when we started to introduce this fight, I was like, well, we're moving to flyweight next because Herbeth Sousa is fighting. But like he's going up to bantamweight for this one, and still just like so good on the mat to do that to somebody like Gafurov. And so like if Lima's got poor takedown defense and isn't going to be a big threat to hit him on the feet, I don't see how he doesn't take him down, take his back, and choke him out in the first 3 minutes of this fight.
All right, pay attention. You should know hopefully he is listening and he will follow your game plan correctly, Mr. Sousa. All right, we got another Sousa here, Gumby. Is there any relation here? I guess Sousa is a fairly
whatsoever. Yeah,
Sousa is a fairly common name in Brazil. Manoel Sousa from Brazil, as I said. Lucas Barros from Brazil as well. They are fighting at 155. They are fighting 3 5-minute rounds. We're going to break it down right now. Barros, Feio, F-E-I-O. Huh?
Yeah, it means ugly. If I'm not
does
mistaken.
mean ugly.
Yes,
Gumby's heard that one before, apparently.
The Spanish translation is the same thing, and I know that largely not from my Spanish studies, but because if you've ever seen the TV show Community.
I know it. I haven't seen it.
At one point in time, Senor Chang calls one of his students Feo.
I thought you said you knew it from you knew it from when you traveled abroad, but no. No one would ever call Gumby ugly. All right, Barros, he's ugly apparently. He's 8-2-1, 3 knockouts, 4 submissions. He's been knocked out once. He owes his rounds pretty much. That's close enough for me. 0-0-1 in LFA, 3-0-1 over his last 4, 5-1-1 over his last 7. TKO win in his last fight. He's fight at 170, 2015 Pro MMA debut. Not a lot of fights. 11 fights in the past decade. Sousa, Manu Mito. I don't know what that means, and I couldn't find anything. Do you have any?
Manu Nito?
Manu Mito. So Manu as in Manu Ginobili, and then M-I-T-O. All one word.
Sounds like it would be like Tiny Manuel.
Okay. Oh, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's why I didn't. Okay, cool. Yeah. That's what he is. He's 11-1, 7 knockouts, 3 submissions, never been finished. He owes his rounds as well. This is his debut in LFA. He did lose his last fight. 1-1 in Bellator, 1-0 in PFL. A regional champ. He's fight at 170, 5 years younger than the ugly Barros.
Yeah, I think Sousa, similar to his other namesake, is going to be a negative 300 favorite here, and I'm going to ride with him too. I'm going to go back-to-back Sousas as decent-sized favorites. As a matter of fact, parlay them together. Do the all Sousa parlay. Manoel Sousa, I think is just a much better striker in terms of his like technical approach to striking. If you watch Barros, like he's got good power. You mentioned he knocked somebody out in his last fight. He's got a nice overhand right. He's got decent wrestling. He doesn't necessarily score on his first takedown every single time he shoots, but he's like kind of persistent with it. But the bottom line is that like if you watch Sousa, he doesn't give up a lot of takedowns, and he's fought some like really high level dudes. You mentioned he fought in Bellator. He fought Archie Colgan and Bellator, who's a damn good wrestler. He gave up probably 4 or 5 takedowns in that fight, and he maybe spent like 4 or 5 seconds on the mat. And now I'm being a little bit hyperbolic here, but like he gets up really quick. He does a really good job of getting his back to the cage, getting himself back up, not taking any punishment when he's down. So like, first of all, that's a way better wrestler than Barros is. And second of all, if that's how long he's going to spend on the mat, I like his chances on the feet because he's, like I said before, he's electric. I like the shots to the body. And the shots to the body should pay off too, because I've seen Barros gas in fights before, especially, when he get late into that third round, he certainly is running out of steam there. So, I like Sousa here. I think most likely his hands will get going, even if he fails a little bit on the takedowns or defending the takedowns. It should just tire out Barros to the point where he can finish him later.
All right. Another Sousa, another probably big favorite, but another winning play nonetheless. All right. Before we dive into the main event, let me tell you about Underdog Fantasy. It's time for Gumby's bonus Underdog Pick'em. Underdog Pick'em, you can play up to any sport and win up to 100 times your money. Gumby's going to give you a play right now because I said so.
Sure, the Lakers are playing the Magic on Monday because you're probably not going to listen to this till the Sunday games are over or at least already started. So on Monday, the Lakers are going to play the Magic. I'm going to take the higher than on Jackson Hayes PRA because they've been listing it just about every single game at like 14.5, which is a decent projection, but he's been over it in 4.5 or 4 out of the last 5 games. So I'm going to take the higher than on Jackson Hayes's PRA projection.
All right, Jackson Hayes, and we haven't mentioned him yet on the show. Maybe he'll be becoming a new favorite if he comes through for us. Sign up with the code MMA SGPN. Claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code MMA SGPN. And SGPN is partnered up with EdgeBoost, the premier Visa debit card for bettors. An EdgeBoost card allows you to avoid the hassle of having your card denied at the sportsbook, DFS site, sweepstakes site, racetrack, or casino. Plus, you can earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards for using your EdgeBoost card. And your money is safe as the card is FDIC insured. Best part is no credit checks and it's completely free. Sign up today at edgeboost.bet, promo code SGPN. And just like that, hopefully it's quick enough for everyone. We're to our main event.
They don't want you to talk.
No, LFA Bantamweight Championship. Now, it looks like neither of these guys are the champion, Gumby. It doesn't say interim. It doesn't say vacant. What's the deal?
It's vacant to my knowledge. John Sweeney was the champ. He was set to defend against Rafael Do Nascimento in a fight. Let's say it was in like November of last year. Sweeney won the fight, but he missed weight in the process, so they stripped him of the belt. I half assumed that meant he was going to fight for it again, but it appears they're going with two different people. So I'm going to say this is the real deal belt. And I wonder if John Sweeney's moved on to another organization or is just like figuring out his weight stuff.
All right. Gummy has spoken. So that is what we're going with here. Vinicius Pires versus Lionel Abojer, Brazil versus Argentina. 5-minute rounds, 135. Let's break it down. Abojer, right? Not Abojer. Let me find him here. I don't think he ever fought in Samurai Fight House, though, did he? Even though he's from
Argentina. He did way back when.
Okay, good. I was going to say, if you're from Argentina, you better have fought there. He is La Bestia, a.k.a. The Beast, 11-2, 2 knockouts, 11 submissions, never been finished in a fight. This man knows his rounds as well. 1-0 in LFA. He's won 5 straight, all via submission. He's not lost since December 2022. He was a regional champ. Used to fight at 145 and 155, 2 inches of reach over Pires. Pires is 10-1 with 1 no contest, 1 knockout, 4 submissions. He's been submitted once. 4-0 with 1 no contest in LFA. He's won 2 straight, both via finish. He's not lost since April 2019. He's fought at 125 and 145, and he's got an inch of height over Abojer.
Yeah, I think Pires probably like -225, -250, and I'm gonna close with a favorite again. I implore anybody who's thinking about backing Abojer when this number comes out to just go watch his last fight on UFC Fight Pass. If you've got the means to do so, please watch it. His striking is so very bad. The punches are so wide. I literally rewound it when I first watched just the first 2 minutes. You can watch the first 2 minutes. I rewound the first 2 minutes to be like, did I really just watch him strike like that? And I had to second guess, like, is this definitely the person who's fighting for a title? And then I fast forwarded to the end of the fight to see that he was in fact about to win this fight. And after striking terribly the whole time, shooting ugly takedowns, like really ugly takedowns, he somehow lands a right hand. It stuns his opponent and drops him, and he winds up with the finish. And like, you know, good for him for winning and winding up in this title fight, but like, there's no way it works against Pires. I can't imagine it possibly working against Pires. Pires is so much faster. He does have a little bit of questionable defense, which is why I think that number will come down a little bit, and especially because Abojer has a finish in his last fight. But like, he had questionable defense. He got tagged a few times in his last fight, but he's like has a good chin. And also, like, while his defense isn't always great, when he's moving forward, he feints enough to like sort of deter the offense of his opponent. So I think that plays up. Maybe his wrestling's not super up to snuff, but it should be fine to beat Abojer. And ultimately, I think this fight takes mostly place on the feet anyway. So give me Pires. I think he's going to be faster. I think he's going to be stronger. I think he's going to be 855 times more technical than Abojer. And that's good enough for me.
All right. Let's give you a recap and get you some bonus plays and then get out of here. Pires, Sousa, both of them. Fujimoto and Pat. All right, lightning round. Zapad Moon, Pow, Gumby. Do you have some Brazilian lightning round plays for us?
I do, and I'm going to give you 2 people with the same name. I'm going to take Diego Diaz first. Actually, same first names this time. Diego Diaz. He's a guy who he's a big, like he's shaped like a juice box. Like a big, thick dude. And he comes in, shoots big takedowns, has a great arm triangle. Love the top control. Not sure what his number will be posted here. I'm kind of less familiar with this opponent, but Diego Diaz is a name who I really trust. The other one is Diego Paiva. He's an 125-pounder. You don't see a lot of grapple-heavy 125-pounders, but he is very quick when it comes to his entries and his transitions. Super fun. Helps him get to the back really easy. Got a bunch of rear naked choke finishes as a result. So I'm going to take Diego Diaz and Diego Paiva.
All right. You are all set now. We shall be in the Discord if you want to chat about anything. We are at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. We are on YouTube at MMA Gambling Podcast. We are on the Twitter X at SGPN MMA. He's at Gummy Vreeland. I'm at Jeff Fox Writer. Same thing on Instagram for me. Check out my Substack, at the very least, you can enter my free UFC pick'em contest that I run pretty much every Saturday. That's moneymma.substack.com. Gummy's got the Top Turtle MMA podcast. Is it too early to ask for this coming week who's on it or not?
No, I got Vince Morales, who's back fighting again so very fast from his last fight, which we're talking about. And I'm talking to a UFC and IFL legend. I'm talking to Vladimir Matyushenko, which only maybe you old heads might know even exists.
Yeah, very nice. All right, so check all of that out. Of course, we're at sportsgamblingpodcast.com, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store. Try Madness as your code, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon to get some bonus content from the bosses. Also, if and when you do sign up for Underdog Fantasy, remember the code MMASGPN, so we get credit for that. Is that right? Or is it SGPN MMA? It's MMA SGPN.
MMA SGPN.
Right. All right. We're set. La Bestia, Jeff Fox.
No. SGPN MMA.
Yeah. Okay. I was right. SGPN MMA. Right. SGPN MMA.
The Twitter is MMA.
Twitter's the other one. That's what screws me up. All right. La Bestia, Jeff Fox will be back tomorrow. So will Panico, Gumby Vreeland. We'll talk to you then. We should have